My name is Ellie Carter. I'm 32 years old, and this is how I took revenge on the people who forgot I existed. The moment I stopped serving their needs. It was Christmas Eve, and Ellie stood at the edge of her childhood kitchen, holding a tray of cookies she'd baked from scratch. The house buzzed with noise, nieces and nephews shrieking with joy, her siblings laughing with their spouses, her mother gossiping with the aunts. Everyone had someone. Everyone was full of life. Ellie felt like a shadow in a place she used to call home. She hovered at the edge of conversations that didn't need her, smiled at people who didn't really see her. No one made room for her at the table. No one asked her to sit. She kept waiting for someone to pull her in, to say her name, to hand her a cup of cocoa like they used to when she was little. But they didn't. Later, as the family gathered around the twinkling tree, Ellie stood behind the couch, quietly watching. Her sister passed out presents with dramatic flair, calling out names with glee. Laughter echoed off the walls. Torn wrapping paper littered the floor. And then one of the younger kids looked up and asked, "Who's that one from?" Holding a carefully wrapped gift. Her sister glanced at the tag and shrugged. "I think from." "What's her name?" "Elena." Ellie froze. Her name is Ellie. Elena was her full name, barely used since she was 6. But no one corrected it. No one noticed her flinch. Her hands were cold, her chest hollowed out, and as the final presents were unwrapped and everyone gushed over their gifts, she realized something that made her stomach turn. Not a single one was for her. Not a card. Not a stocking. Nothing. When she looked at her mom, hoping maybe she had just forgotten to hand it to her, her mother just smiled and said, "Did you get something for yourself?" Ellie forced a smile, nodded, and excused herself to the kitchen. She leaned against the fridge, breathing through the humiliation. No one followed. No one even noticed she left. She watched them laugh and celebrate with gifts she had spent hours picking, buying, wrapping, labeling for each of them, carefully, thoughtfully, lovingly. And they didn't even know her name. Her voice hardens in the narration. That's when I knew I didn't belong to this family anymore. And if they didn't remember me when I was standing right in front of them, I'd make damn sure they remembered the day I walked away. Ellie grew up in a household that always felt a little too loud and a little too full. 3 siblings, 1 bathroom, and a mother who moved through life like she was racing a clock. Her dad was gentle, but quiet in a way that made him nearly invisible. And her mom was the kind of woman who juggled chaos like it was second nature, often at the expense of presence. Ellie, the middle child, figured out early how to disappear into usefulness. She became the fixer, the one who stepped in without being asked. She babysat her younger siblings' kids before she was out of high school, helped with bills when her older brother got laid off, picked up prescriptions for her mom, sat with her dad through doctor's appointments, and never missed a birthday or a baby shower. If someone needed a ride, a favor, or just a body to show up, Ellie was there. She stayed close to home as an adult, partly out of obligation, partly out of inertia. She didn't marry. She didn't have kids. But that wasn't because she didn't want love. She just spent so many years loving everyone else that she never figured out what she needed. People called her independent, strong, uncomplicated. Must be nice, they'd joke. When she showed up solo to family events, no one to answer to. But the truth was far more layered. Ellie had a long-term partner once. 7 years, in fact. And when that relationship ended, she showed up to Christmas with puffy eyes and a shaky smile. No one asked why. When she finally got the promotion she'd been working toward for years, her sister responded, "That's nice. Guess that means you can start saving for a real house now." When she had a mental health crisis last winter, panic attacks, insomnia, therapy sessions twice a week, no one noticed. Or if they did, they said nothing. Still, Ellie poured love into her family, especially around the holidays. Christmas was sacred to her, not for religious reasons, but because it gave her a purpose. She'd start planning gifts months ahead, scrolling Etsy and making spreadsheets. She wrapped each present with deliberate care, choosing paper and ribbons like they were a love language. Every bow had meaning. She says softly, every card was handwritten. Not just love, Ellie. I wrote why I loved them, what I remembered, what I hoped for them. But this year was different. She could feel it in the air, a shift she couldn't quite name. No one responded to her group text confirming dinner. No one asked what she was bringing, or if she needed help. She told herself they were just busy, that life got hectic, and people forgot to reply. She still showed up, still brought the gifts, still wore the holiday sweater her mom always said she liked. And then, on Christmas Eve, surrounded by laughter and lights and the rustling of wrapping paper, she saw the truth. They didn't forget Christmas. They forgot her. Christmas Day felt like salt in an open wound. Ellie woke up hoping, despite everything, that someone might text. That maybe her mom would call and say, "Sorry, we forgot a gift. We were just distracted." Or that one of her siblings might swing by with a card. But the phone stayed silent. The only buzz came from a tagged notification. Her younger brother had posted a family photo on Facebook with the caption, "Merry Christmas from the Carters." Ellie clicked the image and felt her chest tighten. She had been standing there when it was taken, right on the edge, holding her nephew while her mom called everyone over. But in the version posted, she was cropped out, cleanly, entirely. She scrolled through the comments. Beautiful family. So lucky to all be together. All there. All there. She stared at the screen, her stomach flipping. All there. Her fingers trembled as she texted her mom. Asterisk, did I do something wrong? Asterisk, no response. She waited 5 minutes. 10. Still nothing. So she put on her coat and slipped out to the garage, the one place where she could fall apart unseen. The cold hit her lungs like glass. She sat on a stack of storage bins and let herself cry. Ugly, silent sobs that cracked open months, maybe years, of being the afterthought. And then her eyes landed on the pile in the corner. A cardboard box overflowing with discarded ribbon, shopping bags stuffed with wrinkled receipts, gift wrap scraps, half-used tape rolls, and tags that never made it onto presents. Evidence of her effort. Evidence of how much she gave. She wiped her face, stood up, and started counting in her head. I spent over $1,200 this year, she whispered. On gifts, cards, delivery fees, personalized items. And not a single person said thank you. Her sadness calcified into something sharper, clearer, and then the idea arrived. Not like a lightning bolt, more like a door swinging open. Asterisk, if they didn't remember what I gave them. Asterisk, asterisk, they wouldn't notice if I took it all back. Asterisk, Ellie didn't make a scene. She didn't post cryptic quotes or start a group text war. Instead, she planned, methodically, with the kind of care she used to reserve for their birthday surprises and holiday menus. The day after Christmas, she started with her oldest brother's house. She showed up with a smile and a Tupperware dish of leftover cookies. Hey, she said casually, I think I brought the wrong size jacket for Lily. Mind if I take it back and swap it? Her sister-in-law barely looked up from her phone. Yeah, sure. It's in the closet. Ellie took the jacket. The one she'd spent hours tracking down in the exact shade of lilac her niece liked, and folded it neatly back into its box. That was the first one. By the end of the week, she'd made her way to every sibling's home. She returned toys under the pretense of wrong batteries, retrieved the skincare set she knew her sister wouldn't notice missing, and swapped out the wallet from her brother's drawer while he napped in front of the TV. She was warm, polite. Her smile never cracked. Just forgot something. Oh, I meant to label that differently. No one suspected her. Not at first. And when they did, it was already done. She returned what she could. Big box stores took most of it. Gift receipts worked in her favor. The more personal items she sold online. Marketplace, eBay, even local consignment. She didn't care about the money. Each refund, each Venmo notification, each sold item felt like breathing again, like reclaiming something they'd quietly chipped away over the years. As she folded and sorted the returned items in her apartment, flashbacks played like static behind her eyes. Her sister handing her a crying baby during dinner with a shrug. Ellie doesn't mind. Her mom saying, "You're lucky you don't have to deal with in-laws." Her brother rolling his eyes when she mentioned work stress. Must be nice to only worry about yourself. They never meant to hurt her, but they never bothered not to, either. Then the phone rang. Her mother. "Why are people saying their gifts are missing?" she asked, voice tight with confusion. Ellie didn't flinch. "Because I took them back," she said evenly. "I gave too much of myself. I'm just balancing the scales." Her mother was stunned into silence. Then came the guilt-laced sigh. "But Christmas isn't about keeping score." "No," Ellie replied. "It's about remembering the people who show up for you. You forgot me. I just returned the favor." Later that day, her sister showed up, furious. She stood on Ellie's doorstep, holding an empty toy box. "You embarrassed me in front of my kids." They cried when they couldn't find their train set. Ellie didn't apologize. "Good," she said calmly. "Maybe they'll learn to say thank you next time someone gives them something." Her sister stared at her like she didn't recognize her. And maybe she didn't, because this wasn't the old Ellie. This was someone who'd finally stopped begging for crumbs at a table she helped build. Ellie wasn't cruel. She didn't scream, or shame, or drag them publicly. She simply started telling the truth. When her brother asked if she could babysit New Year's Eve, she said no. When her mom tried to guilt-trip her about keeping the family together, she said, "You didn't notice when I was holding everyone together. You don't get to guilt me now." She told her therapist everything. The withdrawals, the refunds, the returned favors. Her therapist smiled and said, "This isn't vengeance. It's clarity." Ellie nodded, but in her heart, she knew it was both. Clarity wrapped in payback. Calm, deliberate, and finally deserved. The family group chat lit up like wildfire. First came the confusion. Asterisk, where are the gifts? Asterisk, then the irritation. Asterisk, did Ellie seriously take everything back? Asterisk, her younger sister wrote. Asterisk, she's going through something. Just give her space. Asterisk, her brother chimed in with. Asterisk, she's being dramatic. Selfish. Even. Asterisk, then her mother posted a vague meme about kindness and family, followed by a paragraph that didn't name Ellie directly, but everyone knew who it was about. Ellie watched the notifications pile up in silence. Her fingers hovered over the screen, but she didn't type. Not yet. She scrolled through the thread. Not one message asking how she was, what she needed, or why she felt this way. Just shock that the giver had stopped giving, that the glue had peeled off, that the backdrop they all took for granted had finally stepped forward. She opened the microphone icon. Her voice was steady, clear. No shakiness. No theatrics. Hi, everyone. I figured I'd speak directly so nothing gets misread or twisted. She took a breath. 4 years, I gave all of you everything I had. Not just money or gifts. My time, my care, my presence. I came when you called, listened when you vented, filled in every gap you left behind. And I never asked for anything in return. Not even acknowledgement. But this Christmas, I saw the truth. You don't see me. You don't know me. You know the things I do not the person I am. I spent over $1,000 on gifts. This year, wrapped everyone by hand, and stood in the kitchen while you forgot my name. She paused, then added, not with spite, but with certainty. So I'm taking my name back, and everything attached to it. She released the button, listened to the playback once, then hit send. At first, the group chat went dead silent. No one knew what to say. Then, slowly, the messages trickled in. Her older brother, the one who leaned on her most, replied first. I'm sorry. I really didn't realize. You're right. We've taken you for granted. Her dad followed with a voice note, shaky and full of regret, recounting memories of her as a child, how she was always the easy one, and how he now saw how unfair that had been. But by then, Ellie had already decided. She clicked the group name at the top of the chat, scrolled down, and hit leave conversation. She didn't block their numbers. Not all of them. But she blocked the thread, the performance, the illusion of connection that had never included her in the spotlight. If they want to speak to me, she whispered as she turned off her phone, they'll have to use my name and look me in the eye. Weeks passed, and the noise of the family group chat faded into distant static. Ellie didn't rush to fill the silence. She let it stretch, let it breathe. For the first time in years, her world didn't revolve around other people's needs. Her apartment, once cluttered with forgotten favors and holiday leftovers, slowly transformed. She bought herself the candles she always gifted to others, the coat she always put back on the rack. She wrapped her own birthday present with the same care she'd given everyone else for so long, and wrote her own name on the tag. Just Ellie, she spent New Year's Eve in Lisbon, alone by choice. She walked the cobblestone streets, with a glass of vino verde in hand, smiling at strangers, watching fireworks from a rooftop with people who didn't know her history. Just her laughter. It felt like flying without wings, like shedding the skin of invisibility. Back home, she started writing, journals filled with quiet reflections, years of moments she had swallowed, smiled through, brushed off. She wrote about the time her mom forgot her college graduation, the day her sister asked her to cancel a job interview to babysit, the night she sat alone in her waiting room and lied to the family chat about being just fine. Each page felt like reclaiming a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. And then, one afternoon, a small envelope appeared in her mailbox. Messy handwriting, no return address. She opened it to find a letter on pink notebook paper. Aunt Ellie. I miss you. Mom says you're mad at us, but I just wanted to say thank you. You always remembered my birthday. You came to my piano recital when no one else did. I remember. You, to *** love, Lily. Ellie pressed the letter to her chest. She didn't cry from sadness. She cried from release, from knowing that her presence ** mattered. That all those tiny moments she gave had planted something. Maybe I wasn't invisible after all, she whispered. Maybe I just needed to stop performing for people who refused to see me. And in that truth, Ellie found something she hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not the kind that asks for applause, but the kind that doesn't need it. Lily sits alone on her balcony, a mug of tea cradled in her hands as snow falls lightly around her. The city hums below, distant and soft, like background music to a life finally lived on her own terms. She stares into the quiet, not with bitterness, but with something steadier, clarity, peace, the kind she used to beg for in other people's approval. Now, it lives in her bones. She thinks of all the years she gave without asking, the parties she helped plan but was barely acknowledged at, the texts she sent that got ignored, the birthdays remembered only by her. And then she thinks of the silence now, how instead of begging to be included, she's choosing not to go where she's unseen. I used to think revenge meant hurting someone back, she says, voice calm and steady. But now I know. Real revenge is letting them feel your absence. It's refusing to play the role they assigned you. It's taking back your time, your energy, and your name. Her lips curve into a smile. Not a smug one, a free one. She stands, walks back inside her cozy apartment, lit by soft golden lights she hung for herself. No big tree, no chaos, just warmth, just enough. So this Christmas, she says, placing the letter from her niece back into its envelope, I gave myself the best gift of all. She looks toward the camera, quiet, rooted. I walked away, and I took my name with me. Fade to black.